Yo guys, Theo here on Common Sense. Hello from a sunny and chilly Stockholm. It's like minus 11 now. I'm about to take an introspective walk. It's a Sunday, spiritual Sunday. You know, Sundays are for introspection and reflection. What I try to do on Sundays is just less of everything. So I still train, but just my neck, 3 sets back and front. I still drink coffee and snooze, but way less. Now even way less, because I've been doing well since my dopamine fast with drastically reducing the consumption, but also being less on screens, right? So I just felt like recording this video because something came to me, but then I'll go about, well, my walk and just my thoughts and introspect and reflect on the week and what I want next week to be like. But today I want to talk about triggers. Your triggers are your teachers. So what is a trigger? Well, basically it's something that just elicits an emotional response within you. And when we say trigger, we usually mean like a negative emotional response. Like you get angry, mad, irritated, scared maybe. And very often it's another person that triggers something in you, but it doesn't have to be. We'll probably focus on other people today. But your triggers, a lot of people, you know, they will justify their emotional reactions when they have a problem with like what that person is doing, you know, like they're so annoying or it makes me so angry what they're doing because this and that. They rationalize it, right? But since a long time, I've known that my triggers are my teachers, that if something can have this effect on me, that I'm going about things, I'm feeling fine, and something makes me like, really react in that sort of way, that says more about me than well, the person in this case, or whatever it was that triggered me, right? And I am definitely a person that's very triggering to a lot of people, as you might imagine, you know, just looking the way I do, having that sort of amazing looking body. A lot of people are going to project a lot of stuff on you, that you're, oh, he's so shallow, oh, he just cares about muscle, oh, look at him, he just wants to flaunt and show off his body. But even just the way I speak of it, right, that I say I have such an amazing looking body, right? Then someone else would be like, yeah, you know, I think it's good to train, but you don't have to talk about it in that way, you know. The thing is, it tells these people where they have yet to grow, where they know they could be doing better, right? They could be looking better because they could be taking better care of themselves. And, you know, it's going to have a trick that could be due to many reasons. It could be eating better, it could be training more, all of that stuff, right? But also, some people, they are just not confident enough to assert themselves because, you know, there's one thing about always, I don't know, being super self-centered and talking about yourself in life and just, I don't know, if I were to just walk up to people and just, don't you think I look amazing, you know? Yeah, that's one thing, but being able to just own things that are good about you, that's a good thing, right? And so I'm thinking about this today specifically. I have been thinking about it, but today specifically because someone commented on one of my videos and said, like, me months ago, you know, like, what the hell is this guy's problem? Or what is this guy's deal? You know, me now, I love this guy. And I love that, you know, I love being able to own that too. That, you know, at first when you saw me, you were triggered, but now you love me. And it often works out that way. Because honestly, you should love your triggers. I'll say like a caveat, you know, because now when we're talking about the thing like this, now we're talking about it from a like healing and self-development perspective, you know. Like, for instance, if you're someone that's been a victim of a lot of violence and you hear someone like speak, like glorify violence or something, it's like, yeah, that can tell you what you have yet to heal, but it's like we can't really blame you for having that reaction, right? But in everything I'm talking about here, the way you can get triggered here, in the end you should be very happy and thankful because your trigger revealed to you where you have yet to grow, right? And so I want to tell you a personal story, because that it's something, I've known it for a long time, that we project a lot, that when something bothers you about someone, in this case, well, let's stick to people being triggering in this video. My first go-to thought after like feeling annoyed, angry with someone is like, what does this say about me, you know? Do I engage in this behavior that this person does, or do they do something that I'm scared to do? And I find reasons why that's wrong of them to do, you know. Sometimes, of course, like you can just have a moral code and be a good person, and someone is an asshole. It's like, it's not to say that any time you're ever like feel negatively about someone that oh, that's on you, you're just being insecure or something. But a lot of the time that is the case. So let me tell you a personal story. I'm saying that because I've been aware of this for years, that it works like this, but it's like still always the thing you have to be on your guard for, you know, be ready to respond instead of react. And you're not always gonna like figure it out immediately. Sometimes you're gonna fool yourself for a bit with some ego stories about how it's actually my emotional response that I'm angry or annoyed with, whereas it actually makes complete sense, you know. So my good friend Andreas, formerly known as Optiholm on Instagram, there are some old subtitled videos on this channel. I'm hoping we can record some more content with higher quality sometime this year. We're definitely going to see each other. But that's someone I found on Instagram before we knew each other in real life. So I see this guy, and so imagine he's quite a similar guy to me, kind of holistic bodybuilding sort of person, but he's older, he's been in this for longer, so he has slightly different goals and priorities with his physical practice. But what do you see I mean? Someone that really combines the practice of working on himself holistically, body, mind, soul, right? So I follow this guy, and he's like in great shape, and he's just so on point with his entire regimen. And even just the way he posts on Instagram, you know, it's always this long story with just getting so many things right, you know, going up early, delaying the caffeine intake until later, cold plunging, catching the morning sun, you know, training. Not only does he have this like amazing ripped physique, you know, like performs everything with such like perfect form. Even the clips, just with the way they're outlined, the way the camera is, like everything just looks so perfect. And while like always being so on point with everything like this, posting it to display, which of course what you do is not about what you post on Instagram, but this is actually things he does, you know, showing every day what he does, you know. So that's and I like that too, because a lot of people, they just post that. It's a side note really, but you know, a story is what it's called on those apps. A lot of people just post shit. It's nice with people that actually tell a story from their life, which is supposed to be that temporary content that goes away anyway, right? But at the same time, while doing all of this, it's a very the commentary he puts to the stories is a very, like, it's kind of a lecturing tone, you know, about discipline and this and that. Also kind of lecturing how, you know, people eat for pleasure. Like it's hard to remember kind of the exact things now, because it's some years ago now, but you know, it's kind of it's just being fucking perfect and talking not down to people, just speaking really truth, just in kind of a harsh way about calling out people's behaviors, how many people just they don't eat for purpose, they eat for pleasure, can't even control their emotions, have to stuff them down like that, blah blah blah, you know. I wish I had more direct examples, but what I kept feeling when I saw this guy was like, it's not like I was in denial that, okay, this is a really like impressive, high-performing individual, but I remember like, I just, something made me like furious with seeing this guy. It's like, this really, like, isn't it a bit too much, all of this, you know? This guy, like, to show all of this every fucking day? Does he have to talk that way also? Like, yeah, he's right, but you know, isn't that a little bit too much? And so I just follow this guy from a distance like this. Clearly, this is also something I see from having a following myself, right? That there's a lot of people that have a hate-love sort of relationship for you. They follow you because they are like, wow, they do on some level look up to you, but they can't quite admit it to themselves and find something wrong with it. You know, I noticed that with some people, you know, DM you. And they're like some kind of passive aggressiveness, even when they're actually asking for your help and stuff. And that's exactly, it's the same thing going on, right? And I was just thinking about this. Like, I was trying to call myself out, like, what is this? Like, clearly I am intrigued. I want to, when I see that he posted something, I want to look, I want to see what he did, you know. But I'm like, annoyed at it. And then one moment it hit me that, man, I am so frustrated seeing this guy, because he's so much like me, but I just think he's so much better at like everything, so much further ahead at everything. So even with a thing like he's in great shape and he's very good at what he does with the whole just fitness regimen, I just feel like, yeah, it's like everything I do just a little bit better pretty much, and even graduated past some things that I do. But also the way he spoke, I realized that he was asserting himself and taking space and allowing himself to have such a strong voice in a way that I was still scared to do. And remember, like I say, the work on ourselves, it doesn't ever end. Some things you just level up, but it's the same kind of thing, trying to beat. So this is when I've been doing Uncommon Sense, and I'm like still a way much more secure and healed individual than I ever was before Uncommon Sense. But clearly, this guy revealed something to me that where I had still some, like, okay, I am still a little bit afraid of just going for it, just owning that, yeah, I am the fucking shit. I have things to say, and people actually need to be a little smacked in the face sometimes to wake up. They need to be a little triggered, just like I was, in a very less direct way from his stuff, you know. But from that moment when I realized that shit, I just kind of admire this guy, and I project my own insecurities, so I have tried to find some things wrong. When I finally realized and called myself out, from that moment I just loved the guy. I was just like, man, this guy is so impressive, like, wow, that's so cool, like how far he's come with things, and I want to be like that too. Like I started not copying but slightly changing and being influenced by him, and then at some point I just responded to some story, something very trivial, you know, I just like lolled at something. He accepted it, started following me back, we started having a back and forth. Suddenly I came to see him, and then we're friends, right? But so that's just my story of something. We've been friends ever since. That's also a good thing, you know. Many times when you can overcome your, like, because of course I could have chosen to, like, I don't know, never get over myself, and just I would have blocked myself from, even if I'm not going to be friends with this guy, I could just not have received fully the inspiration I could when I actually like let myself accept that, okay, I do look up to this guy. I think he's ahead of me. He reminds me of things I could be better at. Yeah, if I didn't introspect, if I just, you know, that's a saying that we both say these days, don't project, introspect. Introspect, don't project. If I just projected, I would have blocked myself from that personal growth. So your triggers are your teachers. I'll say that I know, again, I'm a deeply triggering person to a lot of people. I see it here on YouTube, and I can admit, you know, because, guys, well, I try to be as open with everything as possible here. I am a recovering people pleaser. Like, I'm doing way better with that, like, in general. But I can definitely tell you that while I am someone that knows that I need to, just going around pleasing people, that's not the best helpful way. Many people need to be a little triggered, get a little angry and stuff. But I tell you, it's not super comfortable for me. When I deep down on some level, I would prefer if everyone just liked me, you know. But that's where the work is, and yeah, it's a responsible thing to do. To, at the expense of my own recovering people-pleasing tendencies, just trigger you a little bit sometimes. In this video, it's kind of nice, I think, but you know. Yeah, just thinking. I guess that's it for this one. I spoke longer than I thought. It's an interesting topic, guys. But yeah, I want to, I guess, because I'm recording at a time when I usually don't record, I'm just thinking, we're at the start of a new year, and I'm just, I've been thinking a lot about, like, the future of the channel and what I do. And I think I've never, I would say 2023 is the time when I have the biggest identity crisis, even with, like, Uncommon Sense. I would say for a long time, I like just known what I'm about, this kind of holistic approach to training, but sometimes I'm a little bit like, how should I, you know, kind of, what proportions should I have in my content? Like, because now lately, for instance, one reason I've focused a bit more on the natural bodybuilding side of things, because the channel has grown and I've connected with some other bigger natural bodybuilder creators, you know, and that influx to my audience. And I will always want to do that. But I'm thinking, I want to have a kind of even ratio of, like, the fitness stuff. I count fasting into that. Some more like actually just spiritual healing kind of stuff. Because what I'm talking about here is very much about, like, overcoming your own, like, insecurities and trauma wounds to level up in that sort of way. And yeah, I just feel like right now I see the path forward with how I want to kind of divide these things, like, you know, how much of a what. And so other things I'm just thinking about, yeah, what am I even thinking about? Okay, well, it doesn't come to mind now, but many kinds of topics that are they're like overcoming a thing like being a people pleaser, for instance. Where does it come from? Why could we be like that, you know? These kinds of topics I want to make more videos about. So I guess what I want to come to here in the end is, if just something came to mind with anything I was talking about, like, could you talk more about that? Yeah, you know, please comment. I always love. Yeah, you don't know how many times I do videos because of what you guys commented, like a single person or just something I see a lot of people request. But speaking of that, because like the fasting video, for natural lifter, that was because a lot of you asked. Yeah, that's one thing I can mention. It's a little triggering to me, guys, when you fucking ask shit that's on the same video that I'm talking about it, and that's also on me, my trigger, that I know as a child I felt like I wasn't listened to, I wasn't heard, right? And that's a feeling of you don't get respected, and being a sensitive guy also. From being now I guess I get to drop little things we could make, because being a sensitive person I could definitely do a video on. But yeah, sometimes when you ask something in the comments on a video that I talked about, my initial response is like, I feel disrespected. Fuck you, I said this, don't you listen to me? So of course that's in part my thing to look at. I'm sensitive, get triggered about a thing like that, but honestly, it is also just fucking lazy. You know, do you have zero attention span, or are you just that entitled that you're like, I'd rather, I'm too lazy to sit through a video. I just, you know, demand the answer instead. Like, not that I want you to be afraid to ask questions, guys, but many times what you're looking for, like what you're asking, it's already out there, you know. Oh yeah, last thing. Some kind of, I guess I post this video today actually. I usually don't post videos on Sundays much. But one cool thing, speaking of the fasting, is that I know that right now Jeffrey Verity Schofield is in the midst of what he was going to do a 48-hour fast, but I suggested maybe he should extend it another day. And it seems like he's going to do that. And I don't take all credit. I know it's Atlas Power Shrug has been on him too, to try a long fast. But me too, and we've been talking throughout this fast, and he's doing great. He hit some PRs on his fast today, and that's just really cool to see. So I guess I just wanted to mention that, but that's something that makes me really happy. And it's going to be really cool to see his, like, you know, after the fact, more his, like, take on everything. But yeah, guys, that's a Sunday, spiritual Sunday video for you. Maybe we'll do more of these. We'll just see. But, you know, like and comment. It helps support the channel. Helps the algorithm, helps more people find their way here, so it's helpful. But also, please, if there's anything that came to mind that you'd like me to talk more about, let me know in the comments. I do holistic bodybuilding coaching, getting jacked and stacked, mentally, physically, spiritually, working on ourselves, body, mind, and soul, becoming that person that just is jacked. Doesn't just look jacked, he is jacked. The external, the manifestation of the internal. That's really the thing, guys. Everything I talk about in my videos are things that I talk to clients about, but of course in a much more personalized way then. So if you're interested, you can send me a DM or email me. It's in the description below. I'll get back to you with my different programs. You can pick up my training book. That one is mainly about the training, but philosophy and mindset related to training to become a self-reliant, jacked and stacked individual. Please subscribe for more content about fitness, fasting, looks and weight, building muscles, self-improvement, stoicism, mental health, philosophy, spirituality, mindset. It is a mindset, guys. Your triggers are your teachers. Peace.